Amazing audience, we are live with Sarah Marcopolos.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. How are you doing?
Thank you so much. I'm doing incredible. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, definitely. Great pleasure. Tell me, which of your talents is responsible for us connecting at this time?
Misty Gilbert, actually.
She's
she
your
is
talent.
your accomplice in crime to bring me here. Absolutely. What an incredible woman. So if you haven't friended her yet on Facebook, you need to.
Misty is amazing.
Yeah.
MG. She should be like Superwoman.
Careful, you don't want too much of that to go to her head. She's already like sassy.
Yeah. I'm seeing her in the convertible, right now with her hair blowing.
Oh, with Black Beauty?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's amazing. So who did you learn your sassiness from?
I think that was a lifelong journey of just not letting things get to me and having a good time with life.
That's amazing.
Because life is just way too short.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. My mother was supposed to do a store, right? And her store name was going to be called Sassy Cassie.
Sassy Cassie, that's got an incredible ring to it, doesn't it?
So who in your family has that type of sassiness?
I would just say me. I'm the one with the big, hairy, audacious goals in my family. So my father said I'm like a black stallion. You're either on for the ride or get out of the way.
I love that.
Yeah, I've always had fun with that.
Oh. Why will you continue to do that, to be that person? Because definitely I can see you encountering other sassy squashers, right?
I have big goals. I have a lot I want to do and make an impact. I have a legacy I want to leave behind because, life is too short to not do what your purpose is, on this earth while you're here to do it.
I totally agree.
Yeah.
What's one of your big, hairy, audacious goals?
Oh my goodness. Well, you have to hear about my why to understand that. I want to teach people with chronic or genetic diseases to financially prepare for their future, because even though people don't have a crystal ball and know what's going to be, in front of them, if they have a chronic disease that runs in their family that's genetic or that they've received in some fashion, they have a good idea of approximately what age range that may come about, whether it's a kidney disease or heart issues or even diabetes or, Parkinson's. If they have some way to financially prepare for those, when they conquer that or battle it, they'll be okay on the other side. A lot of people don't even realize that a lot of cancers are genetic as well, including breast cancer. So my goal is to teach people the value of having a good financial plan in place. That way you don't want an emotional and physical event to also be a financial one as well. So you want to be able to come out on the other side good on that. So one of the reasons behind that, why I want to be able to make an impact in this area, is we actually have a genetic disease that runs in my family that has really impacted us. Actually, my father has polycystic kidney disease. He ended up going through end-stage renal failure when he was 42 and had a kidney transplant, shortly after. He's one of the longest living kidney transplant surviving patients in the U.S.
Love it.
Over 28 years. So bravo, Dad. He just recently turned 72 years old.
Wow.
So yeah.
One of
beating
my friends
all the
actually
odds.
was just diagnosed with that. So I'm glad to hear that, and
Yeah.
I hope he hears this as well.
Absolutely. So, also along with this is talking to people about the importance of organ donating, not just as a deceased, donor, but also a living donor, because that will extend the life expectancy drastically, for the recipient.
Yeah.
When you receive a kidney from a deceased donor, your life expectancy is approximately 8 years. But if you receive a kidney transplant from a living donor, that could extend it to 15 plus years,
Wow.
Especially before dialysis. And my brother, he went through end-stage renal failure at age 38. He's been waiting for a kidney transplant now for 8 years. He just had both of his kidneys removed this last November. So, he's on 3 waiting lists right now. A positive, David Coit. So if you want to donate a kidney, he'll definitely, be ready to receive one.
That's good.
So,
yeah, I love that. So the A positive, I love how you put that in there because it's important to tell as many people, yeah? The A positive is what's creating the challenge, isn't it?
Because it's a common blood type. It's very universal, and because of that, a lot of people are waiting. For every one person who receives a kidney transplant, 4 people pass. On dialysis, and dialysis itself is $90,000 a year. A kidney transplant is $416,000 for a kidney transplant. If you're having heart issues, that is $1 million for a heart transplant. So we never know where medical is going or what's going to happen to our Social Security or Medicare or Medicaid, So having a right financial plan, and especially on children before they're diagnosed with a serious chronic disease or genetic disease, and putting together the right financial plans for those children, that way they can have the best possible outcome, that is what I'm here to do.
Yeah.
So absolutely.
I love that. Well done, my friend. Where's the best place for people that are listening to connect with you?
Go to www.sarahmarcopolos.com. That's Marco Polo with an S. So when you see me, when I say Marco, you say Polo. Are you ready? Marco.
Polo.
Marco.
Polo.
That's right. Sarah Marcopolos, Marco Polo with an S. You won't forget me.
What's one other thing you've done, Sarah, consistently over the last 3 years?
Consistently over the last 3 years? I would say learning about financial products, the pros and cons behind all of them, what they all do. Being an advocate for, people with kidney issues or other chronic issues. I would say a lot of talking, a lot of educating. It's all about educating, because people already have these walls, that they've placed up, and it's breaking down those barriers, breaking down those walls, and just opening up that dialogue and that communication, that they can open up and talk about these things, because they're not, things that people really want to talk about. We're already in a medical crisis here in this country, not just that, also in retirement too. So if they can properly financially prepare for these things, then they can have good outcomes for their lives. So we just don't know where the state of these things will be.
How does that make you feel?
How does that make me feel? It makes me feel empowered. It makes me feel good. It makes me feel like I'm making a difference and doing something special for people. I know that I will have more impact on them, and they may not see it right away, but when they're battling those issues, and I'll be here for them. The company that I work for, we'll be here for them. So I want to make sure that it's with a promise that you can keep.
Why would you suggest other people do that? Like, be an advocate for others?
Why wouldn't, I don't understand what you mean.
Sure. Why would you suggest other people do that? Be an advocate for others.
Be an advocate for others? Oh, golly. Because the more people you have standing with you, who can be against you?
I love that.
So we're all in here to serve one another. If we're not serving, then that leads to a very selfish existence, wouldn't you say?
I agree.
Is that something
I agree.
Yeah.
Well said.
So,
well said.
absolutely.
Well said. Well, let's switch gears for a moment. Let me invite you into my time machine that is surrounded with beautiful, warm, blue Caribbean water.
Oh, okay, I was like, you said time warp, and I'm thinking, let's do the time warp.
What is your earliest childhood memory, Sarah?
My earliest childhood memory? Oh, golly. I would have to say my earliest childhood memory would be when my mother had my sister and I dressed up in these little pink dresses that she would make, that she fashioned after Princess Diana from her wedding, with a little birthday cake, and they were all singing happy birthday, and I had a splint on my finger from breaking my finger. But we were all having a good time. There were presents all over the place. Everyone was singing happy birthday, and I was probably like 5. Other than that, I was probably, playing in we were in Brookings, Oregon, where we had the redwood forest in our backyard and the view of the ocean from our front window. And when we weren't playing, outside in the trees, like little mud rats, because that's what we were. We would be up, playing in the Checo River and having a lot of fun in that cold, icy, mountain water. So gorgeous, gorgeous.
Why do you think that memory is so clear?
Because they recorded it, and I was able to see it again later. So that is why the power of video is so incredible. So being able to take family photos, is a really, really good way to just hone in those memories and keep them there.
How do you see that memory connecting to who you are today?
Oh golly, those were really, really happy times. Those were really, really happy times. My mother was in a home she was calling her forever home. When my father was in the same industry I'm in now, actually I wanted to be in financial services when I was little, just because of the impact he made when we were growing up. People would, it was a logger village, and he paid out a lot of claims because a lot of loggers would pass, and it was a little tiny town. There was only one shopping area in the entire town, and people would come up to my mother all the time when she would have my sister and I in tow. And the mothers would, young mothers would come up and say, "Oh my God, your dad was able to keep me in my house. Your dad was able to keep food on our table,
That's
just
amazing.
by some of the things he did." So I told my father when I was, growing up that I wanted to be in the same industry. And he said, just wait till you grow up for people to take you seriously.
Was it your birthday and your sister's birthday at the same time? Is that how it happened?
No, it was my birthday.
Okay, but you both were wearing the same dresses, yeah?
Yes.
Right.
She made all of our clothes at that time.
Can I offer an interpretation to the thought picture you created in my mind with that memory? I can. I love the idea of how you found joy in spite of having injuries. And that's really pinnacle, it seems, to what you do. Because your finger is split, right? But at the same time, there's a celebration of your birthday. There's the financial side, where loggers are injured or they die. But your father still found a way from the financial perspective to ensure that they're good. Your brother, he has what he has with his challenges, but you are still finding a way to help others.
I have those challenges too. I'm at 32% renal function as well.
Oh my gosh. So
yes.
Still the story goes on. And I'm glad that you found a way to ensure that your happiness is protected. So thank you for that. Thank you for that, because it's inspirational. You have to guard your mindset. You really, really do. And know that trials and tribulations are a part of life, but that is where we stretch and grow from. So when we can stretch outside of our comfort zone, we become more of who we're supposed to be, what we're supposed to do. Despite those challenges and the things that can weigh us down, life can always find a way to, drop you to your knees. And it's just a matter of if you want to get back up again or not. I love that.
Absolutely.
Powerful.
Absolutely.
If we fast forward to when you were 12, what was your favorite song?
Oh my goodness. My favorite song, that was, I went to private school all the way up until I was like 11, 12 years old.
Right.
So I didn't even know what a secular song was until I hit that. I would probably have to say it was New Kids on the Block. Right. Step by Step.
Yeah, I love it. That definitely connects, yeah?
Yeah.
You have to do it step by step, yeah? All right, well, we've arrived at our destination, but before we get off of this time machine, there's a small declaration form. So it's yes or no. We're going to move pretty quickly here. Are you ready? Okay. Sarah, have you chosen someone to pass on your skills to? Yes. Are you married? Yes. Do you have children? No. Do you believe in God? Yes. Do you have an inner circle of friends? Yes. Do you watch TV for more than 3 hours a day? Not anymore. All right. How about 3 hours a week? No. What about screen time, the phone and the computer? Is it more than 8 or less than 8 hours a day? What was that? Screen time. Is it more than 8 or less than 8 hours a day? Screen time as far as on the computer? And the phone.
Oh, and the phone, all the social media, baby. I'm on the phone all the time. I'm on, my computer all the time. So that's where it's at.
If you had to share with us your own unique real statement, a statement that represents who you are, what would you say that is?
A servant.
I love it. Sarah, this has been a great pleasure. Before you leave, is there anything else you'd like to share with our amazing audience?
Feel free and contact me at www.sarahmarcopolos.com.
Sarah Marcopolos, thank you for being on what is inspired by 12-Minute Convos with Angel Jones.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, my friend.
Did you have fun?
I had a blast.
Boom.
Booyah.